Hi, good morning, everyone. Okay. See, we have started with the collections and we have completed the list and the set collection. Now let me complete this description with the map. All right. So I have told you like map is entirely a different collection. So, I mean, list and set seems to be a little similar, although there are so many of the similarities in them as well. But then, at least in the pattern which they store the data one by one, that could be similar. There is a difference between ordered and unordered, but yes. But then in the map is entirely a different collection. Map entirely is a different collection. So in the map collection, whenever a value gets stored inside a map collection, it is a combination of two things rather of single value. It's a combination of two things. It's always a combination of key and value. Key and value. So to represent a single entity, there would be uh, to represent a single entity inside the map collection, there would be two things. The first would always be a key, and second is something which is called as value. So map collection basically is a combination of two things. Map collection is basically a combination of two things, key and value. Key and value. Key and value. So when we say key and when we say value, see, key is always unique. Key is always unique. Value could be unique, value could be a duplicated as well. So it is something like, value could be unique, value could be duplicated. But key is always a unique thing. Key is always a unique thing. So whenever you would assume a map collection, you would have to assume it like a capsule, all right, which have two partitions. On the first partition, you have something called as key. Any value which is over here is called as key. Any value which is over here is represents the actual value of that. So whatever is presenting over here, whatever present over here is called as, this is always going to be considered as key and this is going to be considered as value. All right. Now, for example, I'll take few of them so that you would understand. And we will start with like how we are going to define a map collection. So the syntax goes like this only. The keyword is map and keyword is map. Then inside over here, you have to give two things. You have to give two things. And they are separated by a comma. They are separated by a comma. Because map is a collection of two things, key and value. So you have to represent a data type of both of them. Whenever you are creating a map collection, no, whenever you are creating a map collection, you have to give two things inside in this. And you have to mention the data type of both of them. What is going to be the data type of key? That means key data type. And what is going to be the data type of the value data type. And then give the name of the collection, then new keyword, copy this whole thing, and at the end, make it as a default constructor. This is pretty simple. So let's see with some of the examples, like I have defined the map collection of string, comma, string, map of string, comma, string. Map of string, comma, string would means that the value, the key, sorry, the data type of key would also be string. And the value is going to be also string. Key and value, both of them have data type as string. And it's not mandatory that, it's not compulsory that both data type should always is going to be same. No. You could try with any of them. You could try with any of them. Like for example, I could make this as an ID or a number, comma string, date, comma time, ID, comma record, integer, comma string, comma integer. Everything is allowed. It all depends like what type of data you wanted to store inside the collection. Right? What type of data you wanted to store inside the collection. But see, whenever you are creating a map collection, you compulsory would have to mention the size. You compulsory would have to mention the size of both of them. Like this, you compulsory would have to mention the data type, not size. Compulsory would have to mention the data type of both of them. The data type of key and data type of value. So if I have defined a collection, a map collection, particularly like this, map of string comma string. So this would represent that the key is also a string, the value is also a string. If I have defined a map of id comma integer, that this means key is going to be the id, whereas the value is going to be an integer number. Key is going to be id and value is going to be the integer number, right? If I have defined a collection like this, map of id, comma, any object name, like position, underscore, underscore, see why? Because that's a custom object. Or maybe like this, id, comma, lead. So this means key is going to be id, key is going to be the id of the record, whereas lead means complete record. And see now, the one important discussion over here. Usually in the programming, like I have told you regarding set collection in the last session, I have told you where exactly in the programming, in the real-time programming, where we are going to use the set collection. So that time I told you, whenever there is a requirement to store unique set of data, and you don't want that any value is going to be duplicated more than once. So that time, particularly with storing the record IDs, particularly storing whenever you wanted to store the record IDs, that time, that time, that time, you would be using a set collection. Now, in the similar pattern, let's understand when we are going to use a map collection. See, mostly we always use list collection because list is the flexible one. All right. If I would be using a set collection or a map collection in my program, then we use it for a specific kind of requirement. The requirement is very specific, and that on that particular event only we're going to make a use of either set or map. So whenever, say, example, whenever you wanted to store all record IDs, you wanted to collect all of the record IDs and you wanted to store them in a place. And what is going to be that place? The answer is set collection. The answer is set collection. Now, in the similar pattern, whenever there is a requirement, whenever, for example, let me try to construct something so that you would understand. Let's consider there is an example that, I wanted to store something like this. I wanted to store like ID of a record, and then complete record, ID and complete record. What does it mean? What does it mean? For example, I'm having an account. I'm having so many records of accounts. I'm having so many records of accounts, all right? And let's consider the ID 001 and something, 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 something. All right. And then the complete record of that. Complete record means even the value of ID. ID equals to, comma, name equals to, maybe active status, and everything of that record. So if I wanted to store something like this, ID against the record or record against the ID, and same thing, vice versa. So whenever you have any such, and maybe हो सकता है अभी थोड़ा सा you are going to find it a little complicated. I'm trying to dilute this as far as possible, but yeah, maybe हो सकता है अभी तुमको थोड़ा सा ऐसा महसूस हो रहा होगा कि यार ये क्या अजीब सी चीज है. But don't worry. See, I have always told you that concepts of programming, can be more conceptually explained when you are doing it, when you are using them in the program. We always try to understand that theory, particularly to any topic as far as possible. But that the most convenient way to get it is to use them in the programs. All right. So even though if अगर तुम में से किसी को थोड़ा सा difficult लग रहा है, तो ठीक है, bear with us, no problem with that. This is very natural and this has to be happen. है ना? तो ये चलता है. Abhi, more importantly, don't concentrate on that part. Rather, concentrate on whatever I'm trying to say with you. So, for example, if I have a requirement in any such way, In any cases, if I have a requirement, like for example, there are so many account records, right? There are so many account records. I wanted to collect them. I wanted to collect them in a way like I wanted to store ID along with record. Let me try to show you what I'm trying to say. So I would be firing a query in such a way, ID and name from the account, right? That would work. See, if I wanted to have a table like this, if I wanted to have a table like this, we wanted to have a table like this, wherein I wanted to, like this all belongs to account. Okay, this all belongs to account. So I wanted to have a data like this. We wanted to have a data like this, wherein I wanted to store ID along with name or complete records, name or maybe something else, right? So ID along with complete record if I wanted to store. Then how it is possible? See, if I would use a list collection, list could have only one item. It's a list of ID or list of name, list of string rather. Set also have the same thing. But then I wanted a pair of these two. I wanted a pair of these two. I mean, every value what I'm representing, should be of data type of like this. Every value which I'm representing should be of a data type like this. That along with the ID of that record, I wanted to store the complete record, and I wanted to represent them in a single entity, inside a capsule, inside a box. In a single entity, we wanted to represent ID along with the complete record. What we are going to do in that case? So in this kind of a situation, and I'm going to show you that. Don't worry, we'll going to take a few of those types of program where you're going to see that particularly over here in this, we are supposed to store a record of an object. Let's consider account or case or lead, whatever. We are supposed to store a complete record against the ID, against the ID. So whenever this is going to be the requirement, whenever you face any of this kind of requirement, you have to understand that we will have to use map collection. So map is literally a specialized kind of collection. And it have all the methods which are totally different from your conventional list and set. Actually, set में methods है ही नहीं. I would say it, frankly speaking, set doesn't have any methods. Every method what set we represent it along with the set, they have been imported from list collection. So that's why I was trying to say in the last session, okay, if you have learned all of those methods, all of the methods that are there inside list collection, if you have learned all of them, you actually have learned every method of a set collection. You just have to create these differences. You just have to differentiate between both of them. That set is unique, set is ordered, set doesn't allow duplicacies and all. So and the elements, they are already sorted in. I mean, whenever an element get inserted, that inserted according to ascending order, sorting algorithms and also. So based on all this phenomenon, like what makes a set different from the list collection, you would have to justify here this method is not going to applicable in the set. Like if you have learned add method, now add in the inside the list collection, add have two things. Add simple element, add element along with an index position. There were two different forms of add method was available with the list collection. When you come to the set also have add. But then the second form where you supply the element with the index position is not applicable on the set collection. Why? Why? Because set doesn't have any element. I mean, the elements are not stored inside. With an index position, set is completely an unordered collection. So that's why the second form of that add is discarded, and inside the set collection we have only one method, one form of add, and that is add. Just give the element and let the set collection to decide where this element is going to be get inserted. What is going to be the position of this element? Now list have a method called as sort. Set doesn't have that. Why? Because when elements they are getting inserted inside list collection, they are like they are always being ordered according to the insertion pattern. But in the set, they are being inserted with their ascending position, right? So technically, the methods between list and set, they are same. You just have to identify which method is applicable on the set or not. Now, map is not like that. Map is entirely a different collection. It have its own different forms of methods because the way it represents the data is totally different. See, if I would ask you to store a data of this kind inside list, actually it's not possible. Why? Because you could define either a list of ID. If you wanted to store these kind of data, so you have to define something called as list of ID. If you wanted to store this kind of data, where data seems to be a string, right? So here data seems to be ID, so you have to define list of ID. If you wanted to store data of this of kind, so you have to define list of string, but you cannot combine them in a single entity. All right. Same with the set as well. But in the map collection, every record, every value have two things, have been represented with two things: key and value. Key and value. Key could have a separate data type, value could also have a separate data type. They could have same data type. But keys are always unique. This part is always going to be unique. This could be duplicated and this could be even same or unique, whatever. Like here test, It allows, it allows. Why? Because the IDs are different, even though the value seems to be same. Value seems to be same. That is perfect with the map collection. I'm telling you that values could be unique, values could be duplicated, no problem. So whenever in the programming we have any of this of kind of requirement where I wanted to store two things for a particular entity. देखो, अगर if I wanted to try to make it more simple, तो मैं कैसे ना आपको एक एग्जांपल दे सकता हूँ. एक टीचर है, वो अटेंडेंस ले रहा है. लेट्स कंसीडर स्कूलों में होता था, हमारे साथ कॉलेजेस में भी होता था. कॉलेजेस में प्रॉक्सी चलती थी. दोस्त अगर नहीं आता है तो दोस्त उसके दोस्त का अटेंडेंस लगाता था, उसको प्रॉक्सी अटेंडेंस. बड़ा मजा आता है यार, कॉलेज की लाइफ ही अलग है. आई एम नॉट श्योर तुम लोगों ने किया है कि नहीं करा. हम लोगों ने तो अपनी इंजीनियरिंग में बहुत कांड किए भाई, बहुत. तो चाहे वो बाथरूम में बम फोड़ना हो या कुछ और भी, सारा सब कुछ ट्राई करके निकल चुके हैं. आजकल के बच्चे तो सिर्फ पढ़ाई पे फोकस करते हैं यार. एनीवेज, सो एक टीचर है जो अटेंडेंस ले रहा है. नाउ देयर आर टू पॉसिबिलिटीज और मे बी थ्री पॉसिबिलिटीज. हो सकता है वो ऐसा बोले रोल नंबर 1, रोल नंबर 2, है ना. तो ही इज टॉकिंग अबाउट जस्ट वन एंटिटी, इज टॉकिंग अबाउट जस्ट वन एंटिटी. और मे बी वो बोल रहा है, नाम ले रहा है, इज लाइक चेतना, गिरीश, इज टेकिंग दैट. तो देन ऑल्सो इज टॉकिंग अबाउट अ सिंगल एंटिटी. नाउ अदरवाइज वो ऐसा बोल रहा है, रोल नंबर 1 स्नेहा, रोल नंबर 2 जैसे गिरीश, roll number 3. So where he is talking about two entities, he's announcing the roll number along with the name. He's announcing the roll number along with the name of the student. तो ये इस तरह का डेटा, whenever we are representing single entity with two things. Roll number 1 Chetna. Now there are two things, roll number and Chetna, roll number and name. So whenever a single entity consists of two things, where the first value is an ID which is unique, and second is where the first thing is first entity is ID, and I mean the second part of it is the value, then we have to use something called as a map collection. All right, so let's see some of the methods. It have very limited methods, by the way. So for example, you have defined a map of string comma string where key and the value both are going to have data type as a strings, and the name of this is fruit maps, and then new map of string. Once again, you have to copy the same thing and make this as a default constructor. Now, there's a method. If you see that there was a method called as add. If you wanted to insert an element inside list or set, there's a method called as add, and add all to get it from some other collection. Similarly, if you wanted to insert something inside a map collection, there's no add method. There's a method called as put. And to get everything from another collection, another map collection, not list, there's a method called as put all. See, in the list and set, a list could get the values from set. Set could also get the values from list. List and set, both of them could also get the value from the arrays. So if there is already a list collection, there's already a set collection, there's always an array, You can get the values. There's a method called as add all. But see, when you use put all and you're trying to get something from other collection, another collection, so that another collection must always have to be a map collection only. The put all does not work with the list and the set and the arrays. It only works with if the second collection, if the another collection is a map collection. All right. So put, and then you have to mention two things because every record, every value inside a map collection consists of two things: key and value. Now, for example, I have defined a fruits map name, a map collection with a name called fruits map. So I would be like fruits map dot put dot put dot put. So put is going to insert the values inside that. Then in the key section, in the key, because key and value both of have data type as string. In the key, the strings are always enclosed with a single inverted comma. Wherever we use a string in Apex programming, we always have to enclose them. We always have to give them within the single inverted comma. I guess every one of you know this. This is known to every one of us. So red, black, green, yellow, and orange. You see, these all are the unique names. I cannot make duplicacy over here. Whereas the value, when I'm giving the value, I've given the values apple, grapes, grapes, grapes two times. It's allowed because the second section always represent the value. Value could be unique, value could be duplicated. So red apple, black grapes, green grapes. I just trying to, I mean, I hope you understand this, what I'm trying to explain. The colors of these fruits, right? So like something like that. So put all, get the value from another map collection. Integer size would always represent how many elements. For example, if after writing this 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, after inserting 5 elements, if I would give size, fruits map dot size, it is going to return me an integer called 5. Why? Because there are 5 values inside the collection. Boolean is empty is going to compare and it will going to see whether the collection is having a value or not. So it would return true if the collection is empty, return false if the collection is not empty. All right. Then contains key. If you wanted to search a particular key, for example, I have red, black, green, yellow, orange, and I wanted to see in all of these values of the collection, in all of these key of the collection, do I have any key where the name is, let's say, black? Do I have any key where the name is black? So I'm going to with like this. If like you know why I've used fruit maps dot contains, let's say, black or yellow. If it would returns me true, because it always return boolean true or false. If it would returns me fruits map dot contains key yellow, that means I'm asking. See, there are all these red, black, green, yellow, and orange. Is there any key? Is there any key contains key? Is there any key whose name is yellow? If it returns true, I would be writing system.debug. Yes, key is found, not element. Key is found. Key is found. Otherwise, key is not found. There is no such key with the name called yellow, or there is a key with the name. All right. So that is used to get, that is used to see inside all keys, do we have any such key? Similarly, there is a method for get the value as well. You'll have to check it out. But there's again a method to get the value. Oh no. Anyways, get is to get the value, by the way. But not like this. Get, you just have to mention the key name because keys are unique. So if you would mention like get of get of something like get of yellow, get of yellow. अरे क्या हो रहा है? Get of yellow. मतलब key name is yellow. What is the value? The value is banana. To banana. So it would return banana. Because you have given key over here. Key is always unique. You have given yellow. If you would say red, it would return apple. Get red. Something like that. Now remove is simply used to remove the element. You just have to mention the key name. If you had given like fruit maps dot remove red, then apple is going to be get removed, I guess. Right? Yeah, red with apple. Clear is to this is to remove a single element. Clear is used to clear everything out of that. Just give me 1 second. Yes. Clone is to create a second copy of existing one. कुछ हद तक कुछ सारे मेथड्स है जो सेम है. Equals is used to make a comparison between two collection and yeah. This I have to check. It's not set. It's key set. No, 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 no. There's something which is ambiguous over here. Let me check this. I guess there is no set. Rather, there is key set function. Key set is there. Written the keys. I'll have to check it out. Anyways, I'll have to check it out. All right. List of data types. I will check out this too. I mean, there are few of the methods which even I haven't used. That could be a reason. I have used key set, but this seems to be something new for me. I'm going to check it out and I'll let you know on this. All right. So let's take a program first of all so that we could understand. So I take you to the developer console and then I'm going to do everything on execute anonymous window. So I've copied and let me try to paste it out. See, the first thing is to define a collection, a map collection. So we have created a map collection where the data type of key along with the value, both of them is string, right? And then we have added the elements with the put method. So if I would execute up to this only, right? And then like size as well, right? Size group map. So let me try to execute up to this only so that you would understand what has been happened. Right. So the collection size is 5. Why? Because you have inserted 5 elements. Now, what are those elements if you wanted to print them? So it would be going to print like this. Black equals to gray. This is the first. Like, and they are being sorted. See, they are sorted. So, I mean, the order of insertion was like, UV first element. This was the first element which we have inserted, red, and this. But when we are looking into them, they seems to be sorted. But sorted with what? Are they are sorted along? I mean, in terms of values, because in that case, the apple A goes first. So the first element should be red apple. But what we are looking over here is like black and grapes. That means the elements they are sorted. Whenever the elements get inserted, they are sorted like your set collection. But when they are sorted, they are sort the sorting goes with keys. So according to key, they are sorted in the ascending order. So it would come like black, B and G and orange and right like this. All right. So that was the second thing you would have to understand. Now, if you would try to enter a duplicate element, see, red was initially associated with apple. The red was the key, the value was apple. Red was the key, the value was the apple. Now, if you would try to, like, you are trying to insert an element, trying to insert red. Red means the key is same, but now you are trying to insert cherry. So what would be happening in that case? Let's understand that as well. So after trying to insert a duplicate element, right? We already have tried red, but again we are trying to insert something with the red. So I'll go with this. So see, the red was initially associated with apple. Now red would be same, but the value is going to be get replaced. So apple is getting replaced with what? Cherry, right? Apple is getting replaced with what? Cherry. So this is what happened. If you wanted to get the value of any key, so I have told you there is a method called as get. You have to mention the key. So key name is green. So whatever would be for the green grapes, it's going to be get printed. We're going to see this output. So whatever for the, let me try to execute anything out of this. Oh, let's try to understand this whole. The first was collection size. Collection size should be 5. All of the elements, right? The second statement would represent all of the elements. All right. Then after inserting an element, if you are inserting an element, but you are mentioning the key name as same, so that element will replace, will override the previous one. So initially for the red, it was apple. Now for red, it is being cherry. And you wanted to try, you wanted to search for a value. First of all, you have to use get method, but inside get method, you have to give, the key name. So it would represent, it would give you like for this particular key, what is the value. So for green, we have grapes that it has been written. Now, if you wanted to search for a particular key, whether this key is present or not. So if I would search for black, because we have black, it is going to say element found in the collection. So element found in the collection, right? So likewise, just go with all of them, try to execute them, and try to evaluate them. After execution, try to evaluate them one by one. Okay? So go with this. That was the basic example. Now in the programming where it is used, we are going to see this. There would be some upcoming programs where we would going to see what is the use of all of them. List, set, and map. Now, but tomorrow, I'm going to start with the SQL queries. Okay. SQL stands for Salesforce Object Query Language. Going to see by this in the next lecture. That's all for today. Let me give you this command to unmute yourself. Yes, you can unmute yourself. You already have this. Any questions, guys? Any questions? Any questions? All right, then. Thank you so much.